The soap you trust to be gentle contains the same degreasing surfactant found in dishwashing liquid. Independent testing has repeatedly flagged mass-market bars for stripping skin barrier oils while marketing themselves as moisturizing. The brand Australian dermatologists recommend most often isn't technically soap under ingredient definitions. The compound doing the claimed moisturizing work isn't listed on the panel. If one of these is in your shower right now, you're not alone. That's exactly why this matters. 5 soap brands sold across Woolworths, Coles, and chemists nationwide are doing work the ingredient list cannot support. 5 others are worth every dollar, all 10 named. What you're about to see changes how you read every personal care label from this point forward. If this changed how you see the personal care aisle, subscribe. New investigations every week, all focused on what Australian shoppers actually find on the shelf. Number 5. Lux Soft Touch. Walk into any Woolworths or Coles. The personal care aisle stocks Lux in at least 3 varieties. Soft Touch is the mid-tier option. The front panel promises soft skin. The price sits around $3.80 Australian for a 4-pack, 95 cents per bar. Now read the back panel. First ingredient after water, sodium lauryl sulfate, SLES. The same degreasing surfactant found in budget shampoo and dishwashing liquid. It's not soap. Soap is saponified oil, fat or plant oil treated with lye, a chemical reaction understood for thousands of years. SLES is a synthetic detergent created in a lab optimized for aggressive foaming and oil stripping. That's why it works in dishwashing liquid. It removes grease from plates. It does the same to the lipid barrier on your skin. Second listing, Parfum. Under Australian regulation, Parfum is a legal catch-all. FSANZ does not require manufacturers to disclose the individual compounds inside a fragrance blend. A single Parfum listing can contain dozens of synthetic molecules. Independent analysis published by consumer testing groups has repeatedly flagged common fragrance compounds for triggering contact dermatitis in sensitive users. Lux does not list them. The law does not require it. Third, colorants. Lux Soft Touch is pale pink. That color serves no functional purpose. It exists to visually separate this bar from the white budget tier and the purple premium tier on the same shelf. The dye is CI77491, synthetic iron oxide. It's safe in the concentrations used. It's also completely unnecessary. You're paying for visual product differentiation in a category where the product washes off your skin and disappears down the drain within 60 seconds of application. Ownership. Lux is manufactured by Unilever, the Anglo-Dutch multinational with over 400 brands across food and personal care. Unilever also owns Dove, Simple, and Vaseline. Same parent company, same research facilities, same supply chain tiers. The formulation difference between Lux and Dove is branding budget, not ingredient quality. Lux is the mass market line, Dove is the premium line. The surfactant chemistry is nearly identical. If you've used Lux Soft Touch daily for a year, your skin has been exposed to undisclosed synthetic fragrance compounds and SLEs approximately 365 times. That's not cumulative damage in the way mercury accumulates. It's cumulative exposure. Your skin repairs its barrier lipids overnight if you stop stripping them every morning. But if you don't stop, the repair never catches up. You're in a maintenance cycle. The soap strips, your skin overcompensates with oil production, you feel the need to wash again. The product creates the problem it claims to solve. The word soft on the front panel is doing work the ingredients cannot support. SLES is a degreaser. Parfum is a fragrance masking agent. Colorant is visual marketing. There is no emollient listed in the top 5 ingredients. no plant oil, no butter, no humectant that would justify the soft touch claim. The label is a promise. The ingredient panel is a contract. They don't match. Number 4. Palmolive Naturals. The front label says Naturals. The price is $4.50 at Kohl's for a 4-pack. That's $1.12 per bar, 17 cents more than Lux. You're paying for the word Naturals on the packaging. Now read the back panel. First ingredient after water. Sodium lauryl sulfate, SLES again. Identical to Lux, identical to cheap shampoo. The same synthetic detergent that strips oil from dishes is the base of a bar marketed with the word Naturals in 72-point type on the front. Second, Parfum. The fragrance load in Palmolive Naturals is heavier than Lux. Independent reviews have noted the scent lingers on skin for hours after washing. That intensity requires a higher concentration of fragrance compounds. FSANZ allows it. The label does not disclose the blend. You have no way of knowing which molecules you're applying to your skin 365 days a year. Third ingredient, palm kernel oil. Not olive oil. Not the cold-pressed plant oils the Naturals branding implies. Palm kernel oil is a fraction of palm oil, the solid fat extracted from the seed rather than the fruit. It's cheap, it's widely available. It's also the center of long-standing environmental criticism related to deforestation in Southeast Asia. Although Palmolive's supplier transparency is limited and tracing the exact source from a Kohl's shelf is not possible for the average shopper. The word Naturals is unregulated in Australian personal care labeling. FSANZ has definitions for organic when certification is claimed. It has no definition for naturals. A manufacturer can use the word on any product that contains a single plant-derived ingredient, even if that ingredient is a refined industrial fraction, and the other 13 ingredients are synthetic. The front panel is marketing. The ingredient list is reality. Palmolive Naturals costs $4.50. The formulation costs the manufacturer less than 60 cents per 4-pack to produce, based on commodity pricing for SLS, palm kernel oil, and fragrance compounds. The margin funds the distribution network and the Naturals branding. You're not paying for better ingredients. You're paying for better placement and a word that sounds like a promise but delivers synthetic detergent chemistry identical to the budget tier. If the first 2 brands on this list share the same base surfactant, the question becomes, what are the legacy brands doing? The ones your family has used for decades. The ones with heritage positioning and premium shelf space. That's where the list gets worse. Number 3. Imperial Leather Original. Walk past the budget bars at Woolworths. Imperial Leather sits in the heritage tier. The packaging is embossed. The price is $4.50 for a single bar. 4 times the per-unit cost of Lux. The brand has been in Australian bathrooms for decades. The label promises original formulation. That claim deserves scrutiny. Imperial Leather was founded in Britain in 1768. For most of its history, the soap was made from tallow and essential oils. The brand was acquired by P.Z. Cussons, a UK-Nigerian conglomerate, in 1966. P.Z. Cussons reformulated Imperial Leather multiple times after that acquisition. The most significant changes occurred in 2011 and again in 2016, when manufacturing was consolidated across international facilities to reduce costs and standardize supply chains. The current original recipe is not the original. It's the 3rd major reformulation in 15 years. Read the ingredient panel on the bar sold at Australian supermarkets today. First ingredient after water, sodium tallowate or sodium palmate, depending on the batch. That's saponified animal fat or palm oil. Unlike Lux and Palmolive, Imperial Leather still uses traditional soap chemistry for the base. That's a point in its favor. But the rest of the list raises questions. Fourth ingredient, parfum. The fragrance blend is undisclosed as FSANZA permits. Independent consumer testing has flagged specific compounds in Imperial Leather's formulation that appear on European watch lists. One example, Lilial, also known as butylphenyl methylpropanol. It's a synthetic fragrance molecule restricted in European cosmetics since March 2022 due to concerns about reproductive toxicity at high exposure levels. It remains legal in Australia under current FSANZ regulations. Imperial Leather has not publicly confirmed whether Australian batches contain Lilial. Testing conducted in 2021 by European consumer groups found it in Imperial Leather original bars manufactured for the UK market. The formulation sold in Australia shares the same parent company and supplier network. This is the regulatory gap. Europe restricts a compound, Australia does not. The manufacturer does not voluntarily disclose its presence or absence. The shopper has no way to verify what's in the bar at the checkout. PZ Cussons is listed on the London Stock Exchange. The company's annual report shows Imperial Leather is a legacy brand with declining market share in developed markets, sustained primarily by brand recognition among older consumers. That association is emotional, not chemical. The soap their parents used in 1975 had tallow and lavender oil. The soap sold today has tallow, undisclosed synthetic fragrance compounds, and a manufacturing process optimized for cost efficiency across a global supply chain. The price is $4.50. The ingredient transparency is effectively zero beyond what the label is legally required to list. You're paying for a brand name that survived multiple reformulations, not for the formulation itself. Number 2. Coles Brand Ultra Moisturizing Soap. This is where private label opacity becomes a structural problem. Coles Brand Ultra Moisturizing is sold in a 4-pack for $2.20. That's 55 cents per bar, the cheapest option on this list. The front label promises ultra moisturizing. The back panel lists 14 ingredients. None of them are available in detailed breakdown on the Coles website. The only country of origin information provided is the legal minimum, made in Australia from imported and local ingredients. That phrase is a disclosure floor, not a transparency ceiling. It tells you the final manufacturing step occurred in Australia. It does not tell you where the oils were sourced, which contract manufacturer produced the batch, or whether the formulation is consistent from one production run to the next. Supermarket own brands are produced by contract manufacturers who bid for volume orders. The contract goes to the lowest bidder who can meet the basic specification. That specification includes ingredient function, surfactant, moisturizer, fragrance, preservative, but not ingredient source or quality tier. If a cheaper supply of palm kernel oil becomes available mid-contract, the manufacturer can switch suppliers without notifying the retailer or the consumer, as long as the final product still meets the agreed functional spec. This is why private label soap can vary in texture, scent intensity, and skin feel from one purchase to the next, even when the packaging and barcode are identical. You're not buying a fixed formulation. You're buying whatever the current lowest cost formulation is at the time your batch was produced. The ingredient panel lists sodium palmate, glycerin, parfum, and 11 other components. Sodium palmate is saponified palm oil. Glycerin is a humectant, a compound that attracts moisture. Those two ingredients justify the moisturizing claim under Australian advertising standards. But glycerin is also a byproduct of soap manufacturing. It's present in most soap formulations, regardless of whether the manufacturer emphasizes it. Highlighting it on the label is not evidence of superior formulation. It's evidence of superior label copywriting. The price anchor, $2.20 for 4 bars, makes traceability impossible. The cost structure does not allow for certified sustainable palm oil, transparent supply chains, or third-party testing. You're buying the absolute minimum that can legally be called soap and sold at a profit margin sufficient to justify the shelf space. Private labels exist to anchor price perception and capture the budget segment. They are not designed to compete on ingredient transparency. The opacity is structural, not accidental. If brands 3 and 2 share a common thread, it's this: heritage and price tell you nothing about what's actually in the bar. That brings us to number 1. Number 1, Dove Beauty Bar. Pick up the white rectangular bar at any Woolworths, Coles, or Chemist Warehouse in Australia. The front panel promises 1/4 moisturizing cream. The packaging says dermatologist recommended. The price is $8.50 for a 4-pack. That's $2.12 per bar, more than double the supermarket own brand. The product has been the category leader in Australia for over 2 decades. Families buy it, dermatologists suggest it. It dominates the shelf. Turn it over. Read the ingredient panel. First ingredient after water, sodium lauryl isethionate. This is a synthetic detergent, not soap. Soap is defined as the product of saponifying fats or oils with an alkali. Sodium lauryl isethionate is manufactured through a chemical process that combines lauric acid with isothionic acid. It functions as a surfactant. It lowers the surface tension of water so it can lift oils and dirt. That's the same functional category as the SLES in Lux and Palmolive, though the specific molecule is different and generally considered milder. But it's still a detergent. That's why Dove cannot legally call this product soap in Australia. It's marketed as a beauty bar. That term has no regulatory definition under EFSA's standards. It's a label category created to avoid the legal restrictions on what can be called soap. Second ingredient, stearic acid, a fatty acid derived from animal or plant sources used as a thickening agent and to create the bar's solid structure. Third, sodium talloate or sodium palmate. This is saponified fat, either beef tallow or palm oil. So Dove does contain some traditional soap chemistry, but it's the third ingredient, not the base. The surfactant doing most of the cleansing work is the synthetic detergent listed first. Now look for the 1/4 moisturizing cream. The front panel repeats this claim in large text. The ingredient panel does not identify which compounds constitute that cream. There is no line reading moisturizing cream, 25%. There is no breakdown of cream components. What you find instead is a proprietary blend that Unilever, Dove's parent company, does not publicly disclose in detail. The Australian Competition and Consumer Commission allows this under current advertising standards because the claim is considered puffery, marketing language that expresses a subjective quality rather than a measurable fact. FSANZ does not require manufacturers to quantify marketing claims like 1/4 moisturizing cream, as long as the product contains moisturizing agents in some proportion. Dove contains glycerin and stearic acid, both of which have moisturizing properties. That satisfies the regulatory floor. Whether those ingredients amount to 1/4 of the bar's mass, and whether they perform as well as the claim implies, is not independently verified. Look at the dermatologist recommended statement. This is survey-based marketing. Unilever periodically surveys dermatologists, often providing product samples and asking which brands they recommend to patients. The respondents are not required to disclose whether they have any commercial relationship with Unilever. The survey results are then used to support the recommended claim. It is not a safety certification. It is not a clinical endorsement of ingredient superiority. It is a brand awareness metric converted into a trust signal. Independent consumer advocacy group Choice has noted in published reports that dermatologist-recommended claims in personal care marketing are not regulated in Australia to the same standard as therapeutic goods. The claim can be made as long as the survey data exists. The methodology, sample size, and compensation structure do not have to be disclosed to consumers. Palm oil derivatives appear in Dove's formulation. Sodium palmate is saponified palm oil. Palm kernel acid is another fraction. Unilever sources palm oil from a global supply network. The company has published sustainability commitments and reports progress towards certified sustainable sourcing. However, investigative reports by environmental groups, including the Rainforest Action Network, have flagged suppliers within Unilever's extended network for links to deforestation in Indonesia and Malaysia. Tracing the exact source of the palm oil in a specific bar purchased at a specific Coles is not possible for the average consumer. The supply chain is multinational and the ingredient sourcing is aggregated. Unilever owns Dove, Lux, Simple, and Vaseline. Same parent company, same research and development facilities, same procurement infrastructure. The difference between Dove and Lux is not ingredient quality. It's brand positioning and advertising budget. Dove is positioned as the premium dermatologist-trusted option. Lux is the mass-market value option. The surfactant chemistry is different in molecule but similar in function. Both are synthetic detergents. Both cost Unilever under 90 cents per bar to manufacture at scale. Dove retails for $2.12. Lux retails for 95 cents. The margin on Dove funds the dermatologist surveys, the one-quarter cream claim, and the global advertising that makes it the default choice. If you've used Dove daily for 5 years, your skin has been washed with synthetic detergent chemistry approximately 1,825 times. That's not inherently harmful. The formulation is mild relative to harsher detergents. But it's also not the gentle, moisturizing miracle the front panel implies. It's a well-marketed detergent bar with undisclosed proprietary moisturizing agents, sold at a significant margin above cost, sustained by brand dominance and survey-supported trust signals. You weren't choosing Dove. You were choosing the brand with the largest shelf presence and the most dermatologist quotes in the advertising. Now here's what's worth buying instead.